Mate,
What are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. I'm good. Yeah, we both wearing wife beaters. Are you not?
Mine is a Jordan one.
Are you not
I
now that you're
avoid
not?
wearing vests at the minute because I look like shit, but I'm hoping that I can start training again soon.
Well, do you want
Um,
to start training?
all right, I do, yeah. I can't wait to start training again, but obviously I can't yet, so I'll need to wait probably. Well, saying that, I'm kind of thinking, can't I? Like, surely, surely it's not really that big of a deal, right?
How long has it been now since you? Yeah,
I'm about done it on the first, so
uh,
that's what, like 2 weeks.
three over almost 3 weeks now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I started training again after mine after like about 2.5, 3.5 weeks, somewhere in that time. So somewhere around now.
So you think that's like should be all right?
Yeah, so because the thing is, you're not going to be able to go as hard as you did.
No, but like let's say if I go back and I start training like arms and shoulders and things like that, should be all right, surely. Like it's not I'm not trying to go and fucking deadlift 220 kilo, but I at least to like because I tell you why I think it is because they don't tell you why not to train, but they say, oh, you need to wait for a month. I think it's to do with the blood pressure because when you train, it's like it spikes your blood pressure. That's my kind of thought process because I thought about it. I'm like, it can't be sweating because sweat like according to what I read online, after about 72 hours after you've had it done, in order to get that removed, like if you wanted to like remove the follicle, you need like a surgical instrument. So you can't remove it. Once it's in there and you've kept it like for 2 days, it's stuck.
Yeah, part of me thought that like if you strain, you're gonna like affect how it like embeds into your scalp.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, I think you're definitely right. I think it's to do with blood pressure and stuff like that. I think.
But if you go and train arms or shoulders, you're not straining really, are
Well,
you?
bear in mind you weren't training hard before, and then
Yeah.
you've had this time. Like, so when you go back, like compared to your normal capacity, you're going to be training at like what 50%.
True.
Do you know what I
True.
mean? So I think you'll be fine
I
now.
don't know because I've never taken that long off. So I don't
Yeah.
know how I'm going to train. But equally that kind of thinking because I was talking to a couple of mates and they're like, well, surely you can just go in and do like light little bits. I'm like, no, because I don't want to do that because I did that before, meaning I did that before I was like kind of half-assed. So I don't want to do half-assed. I want to go back in and actually have like a structure and train properly.
I get that, but by default, you're going to be training less because you've had time. You can't go in at 100% again. You're just going to fuck yourself. You know what I mean? So yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, I mean, 2 more weeks. It's not the end of the world. I'll try and keep active just so I don't get fat. And literally, I'll eat once a day. I literally just eat once a day.
Once a day, you'll
Mm.
find yourself hungry.
Yeah, but I don't want to get fat.
Yeah, you can eat more than one a day though, surely.
Yeah, but then I eat what I want at night.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh
Meaning,
yeah,
like
like
when I say I eat what I want, say for example, we're having bolognese tonight, so stuff like that. So it's not like, or like the other night we had these like meatballs that I guess are like slightly higher in fat, and I had like some bread with it or stuff. So I'm not like eating fucking Ben and Jerry's, but I'm cautious of, and also like reset my digestion a little bit. So I don't want to just be eating for the sake of it and then go back and. So I just literally just vape and drink coffee all day and Monster. So
yeah, fair enough. Well, I think the good thing is that you actually have a desire to do it again.
yeah,
That's good. It's
I don't
finally
want
returned.
to do it how you do it. I just want to train 5 times a week just for enjoyment more than anything. And like how should I say? Like I don't have the same amount of time now to even like put the same amount of effort into it. I just want to go in the gym for an hour, train for an hour, come out and like that'd be it. Like I'm happy with that.
What have you been doing with gear as well? Just TRT kind
Oh, cool. Fuck,
of nothing.
bro. Literally, I took a because we were leaving on Monday, right, for Turkey. I was like, it was a Sunday. I'm like, I better take a shot because I'll probably feel like shit. Took one 300 mig, which is like 1 mil, and and literally not. I didn't take anything until like last night. I was like, I better take a shot. So I literally took a shot yesterday. So that's been it. Like I've even been forgetting, and so you
Yes,
know.
as I say, yeah, like priorities have just changed a little bit for you. So yeah,
Well,
but
I think with the gear is I wouldn't want to push like gear anymore. I don't see the point. I'll just do TRT every now and again, maybe chucking a bit of Anavar, but there's no point. Like unless you're how we were doing it, how I was doing it before, there's no point.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. But for years, you weren't looking to compete. You just did it for fun and enjoyment. You were using more.
Oh, way more.
I guess it's just with age and like your mindset has changed, don't it now?
That was just my whole life, though. That's all I did for that for before. And now I've, especially more recently, I've got so much shit going on that, like, literally, I don't even feel the fact that I'm not training because I'm just busy all fucking day long. I just do, like, I'm like, fucking hell. So, yeah, but I still want to look good, though.
Yeah, 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 yeah. When you say you got so much going on, so talk me through like, what you're doing for your days.
Well, so just as a starter, like the recording of the content is like takes a long time. Like I've gotten better with it and a lot more efficient with it, but still just to record, because this is the thing, I post on Instagram three times a day, TikTok once, but sometimes twice. But that TikTok video has to be like really fucking spot on because you get paid for them. So it has to be, and it has to be like original content. So you can't repost
Mm.
content, so it has to be your own fucking recording. So that really takes up like a good amount of time. Like I'll get out planning it, this and that. And also like in the background, we're starting a clothing company. So that's taken on a long time now.
Who's we?
Me and my mate. So we're starting a clothing brand, but it's like almost like from scratch, especially because it's gonna do with like tattoos and things like that. So because that obviously my Instagram's got enough following now to where I can do something like that.
What kind of clothing? Explain it to
We're
me.
going to start with t-shirts. But so, for example, there's a t-shirt that kind of says like tattoos are stupid, like that's so something like that. So stuff, content like that, that based on the stuff the content I make, and you kind of see reaction of how people like it, what they like, what they respond to. Obviously, we've got the puppies. That's another thing. So we've got another load of puppies.
Have they been born now?
Oh yeah, they were born last week, so they're like 10 days old now. On top of that, she's obviously doing she does her like beauty stuff, so she does like lips, Botox, and all of that stuff. So for the time being, we've had to transfer over to a different place while she's doing the puppies because she hasn't got the ability to move back and forth, and then we're kind of looking at something like a bigger clinic to kind of open up. So she's obviously doing that. So there's a lot of stuff that's kind of going on that needs kind of that attention. So training has really been, I would like to go back to training, but it will literally be like I'll train for an hour and then the rest is just like time taken up by other shit.
Do you think that training is going to be stimulating enough? Because if you're just with the mindset of like, yeah, I just get it in there when I can, do you think that's going to be stimulating?
I think as long as I can get back to my physique, like prior physique, I'm more than happy with that.
Do you
I
think
don't,
you can though if you don't train like with the same intensity?
I think so. Yeah, I think so because you know what it's like building a certain amount of muscle requires a lot more effort to maintaining it.
Sure. If you've already had something, it's obviously easier to get there again.
Yeah, and like I said, you know what it's like. Maintenance is so much easier compared to growth and improvement. So
Yeah.
for you to put on 2 pounds of muscle a year is I mean, you're grafting all year long. But if you
Mhm.
had to maintain your look now, you could probably do that on TRT.
Yeah. 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 I'd say so. I feel like I've always been like, it doesn't really matter what you use. Like when hold on, let me rephrase. It does matter what you use, and I'm talking about different compounds. But this prep I did, even though it's like I haven't gone for a choke, I did not use train. I think I touched on it last in the
Yeah, you
last
said,
podcast.
yeah.
I do feel like it isn't quite the same look. It's not quite the same. So as
I
much
mean,
as as much
sure.
as like to get there again, like you just made the point of like getting there is like whatever. I feel like for me to get to the level that I was, I do need to do certain things.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between a lifestyle look and what you're aiming for.
You
You're aiming
didn't,
for that top edge, like end of spectrum. There's a variety, you know, when you look at.
yeah, but would you say that your look was lifestyle
Yeah, pretty much for majority of the year. I wasn't
before?
looking like I didn't do anything that special. I just trained and I was just kind of, you know, eating my diet and that. But I wouldn't say like my physique was anything like crazy above to where like you need any like it's quite low maintenance, I would say.
I guess time will tell. I guess we'll have to see when
Yeah.
you do it and you see how it looks. I guess.
I would even say because before you put on a lot more pressure on yourself, whereas when you don't do it for, you know, when there's no pressure, when you kind of just go in there, you train, you kind of, if you have a shit workout, like, you know, whatever, like you end up overthinking and you go, why did I have a shit workout? You overanalyze it. Whereas if you're kind of like, if it's just something you do for fun, you just kind of go, oh, whatever, and you just, you know, how we used to do it before bodybuilding, before we used to bodybuild, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, it'll be interesting to see how it goes for you, man. Um,
Your
yeah.
fucking shoulders though, like what the fuck? Have you started to reverse out now?
uh, yeah. So I kind of want to talk to you about that. I need to be careful with my words because, like, I'm not struggling. Not nothing. What I'm going through is hard. Like,
Okay.
I'm well, obviously where I dieted, and then now I'm at a point where there's nothing at the end of it, and I'm just going to go up. It feels quite unfulfilling. It feels like I can eat what I want now, but I don't want to. I just want to keep going. But there's
Yeah, we
nothing.
spoke
But
about
there's
this, didn't we? Yeah, yesterday, me and you, almost like purposely eat and then purposely bring yourself back, almost like a rebound
yeah,
back up and down. That is the purpose. That is the end purpose, almost.
yeah. And it's just like I don't know. Like I say, so I've what did I? Sorry, I stopped on Tuesday. Tuesday was Amy's birthday,
Yeah,
and I purposely had a day where nothing. I didn't track anything. We went for breakfast. We went for a spa day, and then we had dinner, and then we came home and we went to the shop and just got a load of treats. We literally had like a bag of Cheetos, like a couple of like cheesecakes, just like like nibbles, and that was it. So I thought that's the end of my diet there. Then I woke up Wednesday and I didn't want to eat. I had fucking no appetite, and I was just like, okay. Normally after a diet phase, I'm like pretty like, okay, cool, let's go and eat something. Yeah. No, I went food shopping and I just bought the same foods and I ate. Well, I tracked my food. I ate 3,300 calories yesterday. And then today I've had three meals, but it's been chicken rice, cream of rice, and eggs. Like
yeah.
I'm so as I say, I need to be careful with my words. I'm not struggling, but I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna say it. I'm struggling to come to terms with the fact I'm just gonna get shitter again. But there was no reward at the end of the diet phase. So I'm like,
Well, something you've never done is you normally what you do is you diet down, you do a show, and you blow up, right? And it happens very quickly, meaning you put on 25 pounds in a matter of a week,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So have you thought about, I mean, you have thought about it, but what about if, let's say, what do you weigh now?
I was 120 kilo.
20, okay, 120, so like 260. So let's say you're 260, and then you weigh yourself like 260. That's how I look. And then you go, right, let me push to 265. Let's say that takes you, I don't know, 2 days to get to that 265. Then you go, right, now I'm going to pull down to 258.
Mm.
Bring yourself
Right,
back
just
down.
just edge up and down, right?
Yeah. And then you kind of go, right, how do I look at that 258? Rather than it, because I have clients like, so if, you know, Kev, he does that all the time. He's constantly up and down, up and down, up and down. Food isn't in the week is actually quite low, but we bring him quite high up in the weekends. And he looks his best at the weekends. So that could be something that you can kind of experiment with, and that will probably teach you certain things about your prep.
Do you know what? And so in years gone by, I've thought about this. I've thought like I must have thought about this for the last 5 or 6 years. I thought to myself like I don't want to just push up the fuck of it. But then I think to myself, well, hold on a minute. What am I actually trying to do? It. I'm trying to be a really high level bodybuilder. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
be. So doing this like in between thing is not really serving any
I don't think it is
purpose.
in between, because the days that you're pushing up, you're going to be using maybe some more insulin, some carbohydrates, maybe putting on a leg day, on a chest day, right? Put these days on day. I mean, look, the pros never get fat, right? They never get fat. They're lean all the time. But because they're lean, they can use these things and actually benefit from them.
Mm.
Right. So let's say you go, oh, it's a high day today. You know, when you see these guys that are like in deep off season, 20% body fat, and they're like, high day. Why? What for? What difference does a high day make when you're 20% body fat? It doesn't. But almost like when you're in a dieted state, not enough to, because you got to remember, like if you're, let's say, I hate percentages of body fat, but let's say you're 10% body fat, 12% body fat. At that, you're not, you can still progress, right?
Mm. Mm. Yeah, so that's a good point, and that's something that I definitely champion. I think that people, I think 90, I put a number on it, like I haven't no clue, but I'd say like 90% of bodybuilders, amateur bodybuilders, too fat. I think that's
Yeah.
probably a fair statement, right?
Yeah.
There's no need, especially if you're like, let's say your stage weight is 90 kilos. There's
Yeah.
no need for you to be 150, 120 kilos. There's no
No,
need. But there's
no.
like, for me,
Well, I'll tell you why I think they do it. They do it because they're small, but they want to look big in a t-shirt. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. God, sorry, come.
you know, because they're like, right, I'm small, but I want to be look big in a t-shirt and say to people that I weigh this much.
So I feel, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I also think it's because a lot of people have got a food obsession, and like, how many bodybuilders are like, I can't wait to get big and get massive and eat loads of food. Like, yeah, I feel like it's a very common thing, and I don't have that. I don't have this thing
No.
about food. I just don't. I don't know why. I just don't. And I think what a lot of people do is they have this desire to be massive. I want to be massive. I want to eat loads of food, and they do it, and then they put themselves in a position where they have to do a grueling prep, like a
Hmm.
vicious circle. They eat too much, and then prep
Yeah.
has to be grueling. Eat too much, prep's grueling. Eat too much, like, and I don't have to do that. Like, I've just dieted now for 8 to 9 weeks, and I'm probably about 2 to 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
It was fucking easy. Like for me, like I didn't struggle one single day. Like it's easy.
Well,
And
just off of
I
what?
think it's because, well, it's partly genetic because I get you need lean quick, but it's also because I don't get fat.
Yeah.
And I just think, and it's not like everyone should take a leaf out of my book, but I do think that,
No,
like,
I think that's 99% of people shouldn't, in fact. But for the for your case scenario, there's probably three key benefits that I can kind of list that would make that suitable for you, right? You're starting prep what, maybe like January sort of time,
yeah, about February probably.
right? So at that point, then it means you really have got what, 10 weeks.
Yeah, I think it works out
So
as 12 weeks to be honest.
12
Whenever
or
it works
12
out, yeah, yeah.
weeks. So let's say, for argument's sake, you do this phase now with the up and down, and you make no progress. Well, then you've wasted 12 weeks. Who cares? 12 fucking weeks. It's 3 months. It's not like you're committing to this for 2 years. So if you let's say you get nothing out of it, well then you go, okay, well that didn't work. I'm not going to bother doing it again.
Sure.
But I think that will work because I see that in your posts, just even in your posts, you wake up early, you do your cardio, you're just more alert, you're a lot more productive, you do a lot more things like shit's like in order. Like it's got his little box and it's all in his
Yeah, no
box,
doubt
right?
about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whereas when you're in the off season, you're not like that. You're a lot more like your training times are kind of like you kind of train at the same time every day now
Mm.
because you know that you've got to eat at a certain time. So you've got to train at that time so you don't miss the next meal. You don't end up missing your meals and taking them up so late that you got to wake up, that you got to eat late to then wake up really late.
Mm.
So I think that would benefit you because you're, even just from a point of view of state of mind, you'll feel a lot more confident. So your sessions would be better because you're going to feel better in the gym.
Mm. I agree. And do you know what? By the way, everything you said, actually, well, I'm fully on board with. I think that's probably the direction I want to go in. Gone are the days of just pushing weight for the sake of it. If I did it, it would just be for a laugh. Like, what's the fucking point? Like, I I'm cracking on, mate. Don't get me wrong, I don't feel old. Like, I don't not feel like I've still got my best years in front of me. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, Whether I like it or not, I am 36,
Yeah.
and I got to do things that I enjoy. But it's how much longer am I going to be doing this at this level? Let's say I can go until I'm like 41, 42. Let's just say, for argument's sake, let's
Yeah.
say I've got 5 years left of me, 5 years where I'm actually going to be competitive. I want to make those 5 years as enjoyable as possible. And and as you just said, if I'm like pushing weight and like everything's all over the place and my mood's a bit, and I look at stuff and I look shit and I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it. So, and you said it as well. I think you said it to me. Like in off season, I'm a little bit underwhelming. I'm like, I don't know. I just don't look.
But
I
that's
don't know.
everyone, though. That's not everyone, right? 99% of people.
Some people don't. Some people hold it really, really well.
But when you say some, that's well, maybe 1 in 20 people.
Okay, I'm gonna say something now, and it sounds bad because it's like I'm blowing my own trumpet. I'm gonna fucking say it anyway. But like when I get leaner, I look like considerably better and
Oh,
considerably bigger. Whereas
you
I
look
don't
a
necessarily
different
think that about
person.
everyone. I don't think that about everyone.
You look a different person when you get lean. The difference in you being lean to being in off season is like two different people.
That's kind of how I feel. And I feel like it reflects my physique. Like when I post a physique shot in off season,
Well,
no one really says anything. And then
just
when I
look at
post a
right
physique,
now.
when I post
If
a
you
physique shot
weigh
now,
if you weigh 285,
yeah.
you wouldn't wear a vest on the podcast.
Well. If I went to 285 now, I probably would because I'd be super full. You know, when
No,
you're
no, no,
lean.
no, 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 no. Not a rebounded 285. A 285
Oh,
4 months deep into an off
oh yeah,
season.
no, because it's not. It's an underwhelming look. But a rebound 285, yeah, sure.
Oh well, yeah.
Um, but do you know what else I don't like as well? And we spoke about this. Like it's the vanity thing. I hate like me and Amy went for dinner the other day and we had a photo with each other, and I don't dislike how I look
Yeah,
like facially. And when I'm in off season, I just fucking mate, we got
I
a photo
know.
together. Like, I feel bad for her. I'm
I
embarrassed that
know.
like I look so ugly.
That is a big thing. Like, you know, or you just record a story like on your Instagram and you're like, you catch yourself from like a different angle. Because you know, when you like do a face or like whatever, you can pull it off. But then you catch yourself at like an angle and you think, fuck me, I'm walking around like this all the fucking time. That's what people see. Shit.
Amy might take a photo or a video of me from the side, like, and I'll see my like fat head, and like I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh man, like I
Especially
really,
though, sometimes when you're not like, you don't even know they're doing it.
yeah. So you're not like priming yourself. Like if you know it's on you, you kind of like prime yourself. But if you don't know it's on you and you're just like got this double chin and shit, like yeah. So yeah, I think staying like leaner, and enjoying this, and as you say, like a little push up, little hold back, little push up, little hold back.
Mm.
Think that I could probably be around 275, 280, but like neat, a very, very neat 275, 280. And then by the time prep comes, it's going to be a breeze, easy.
I wouldn't even say 275. I'd say like maybe within 5 pounds of where you are at now. Like I said, just going up. Then again, you don't know. Once you start eating, you don't know how that's going to go. But like I said, maybe put yourself in a certain bracket and you go, right, I'm not going to go above 267, for example. And when you get to 267, pull off 3 pounds.
Well, do you know what? Like it's a bit of a hot topic, I would say, especially for women, like eating disorders with bodybuilding. Like
Yeah.
after prep, you just want to fucking go bonkers. I I actually experienced it for about half an hour. Like so on Amy's birthday, Tuesday night. Tuesday night, we got all those bits and bobs. We had like we probably what do we have? I can't even have to explain, but we had like loads of little nipples, and I found myself like uncontrollably eating. Like I was literally like shoveling like, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, "Fuck, this is what people feel." I don't normally feel it, but I feel it, right? But the moment I started to feel sick, and then I woke up the next day feeling shit still, it was gone. It was gone. My desire to eat food was like just completely diminished. But I think that the reason why I say it is because I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to it. After a show, you go crazy for food, and I felt it for probably half an hour on Tuesday. But I don't think that I'm lean enough because I didn't take it all the way.
Yeah.
If you take it all the way, obviously it's like you get more and more ravenous. But But yeah, I feel like my desire to go crazy with food, like, tonight, I'm just gonna have like my normal meals, like, but just more of it. You know what I mean? And that's it.
And
So
that's what I mean. Like coming back down, and obviously just coming back down to that, and then you can kind of go right. Last time at that 262, that's how I looked. Now I look better. I think it's easier to see progress as well when there's no fat hiding it.
yeah,
You know, you see these people that post these shots and they're like 60 pounds over stage weight, and they go, progress is coming.
yeah.
How do you see that? Where
No,
what are you looking at?
yeah, they're like, they'll be like, I think we've grown.
Yeah.
I think I grew some delts. And you're like, "Oh, it's just fat, mate."
Yeah.
It's you don't know until you come down, and that's the interesting thing about bodybuilding. Like, I've had clients say, "Do you think I'm progressive?" And I'm like, "Well, you're doing what I'm asking you, but you don't know until you come down again. You've just got to have faith in the fact that training really, really hard, and you're eating
Yeah.
your meals. You've got to have faith. Other than that, you have to have faith, don't you? You don't know. In fact, there was someone recently. He might watch it. He might not. I'm not going to say his name. He left his coach, and his coach dieted him down for a show. He did okay, but not great. And then he left that coach, went to someone else, and then put on a load of weight because obviously the rebound.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh, go on.
Okay, yeah. So
We've
then
had him on the podcast.
no. Oh, well, the old coach we have,
Huh?
the coach that he was with previous, we've had him on
Right.
the podcast.
Okay.
This guy then left this coach and went with someone else. Anyway,
Okay.
so he's put on
Wait, say
probably.
who's the coach?
I don't want to say because he might watch, and I don't want to. Fuck it, I'm going to say. Should I just say? Should I just say?
Yeah.
It's Craig. Craig's the old coach,
Yeah.
and there's a guy called Sam.
Okay.
And a guy called Sam. His name on Instagram is Sam40 or something like that. And I trained with him.
I think I follow him.
Mate, really nice bloke. Me, Craig, and him trained together. Got to get on with him really, really well. So he's now gone with Matt Barmer,
Right.
and he's rebounded about 10 kilos up. And he's like, look at all this progress, look at this progress. And it's not that I begrudge him saying that, and I hope he's happy. And I hope, good for you. But how do you know that that's progress? Like how? Yes. All he's done is filled out
I'll tell you what,
because he
especially when
wants
you
to
come
beat.
off a show. Well, one factor is this. When you come off a show and you fill out, you're gonna look better because you're still lean, but you're holding a load of water until you start putting on fat. Then you're like, one
Yeah,
morning you wake up and you're like, shit.
yeah, mate. So there's this like window where you look amazing,
Yeah.
and then that window starts to fade, and the fat starts to come. Yeah.
And the other
Um.
thing is as well, when you leave a coach, you don't want to make it out in your own head that you've made the wrong choice or you've
Right.
downgraded in a way. So
Right.
you subconsciously you big up your new coach just for that reason.
Yeah. I feel like it was a little bit disrespectful to Craig, to be honest, because Craig dieted him down, but Craig just did what he had to do to get him lean because he had body fat to come off. So Craig's dieting him hard to get into the show. So he got on stage and he could have been a bit leaner and he could have been a bit, but he's a first timer for fuck's sake. So like,
Yeah.
good for you. Then the rebound, don't be fooled into thinking that. So this is like the old thing. How many blokes inflate body weight and muscle mass? Like they put on 10 kilos and assume that,
Yeah.
how much, okay,
I mean, I think this is
scientifically,
easy to do, especially post show, because you eat and you fill out, but it almost looks like you haven't put on body fat. So they go, oh, must be muscle.
muscle. Yeah. Scientifically, let's call it 4 weeks. How much muscle can a human being grow in 4 weeks? I mean, there's too many variables to say, but let's say all variables are perfect. You can probably grow what, pound at best?
I would say post show, because during that prep, you would have lost some muscle. No one maintains all of their muscle.
Sure, right.
I think best case scenario is you just regain what you've lost.
Okay, I can go with that. But even then, I would still say it's a lot of it's just glycogen and literally water, fluid, and I don't know. And definitely you would have bought fat as well. You put on
Oh yeah,
fat quicker than you put on muscle. So,
and you can put on a pound of fat in a day.
oh,
Really.
for sure, yeah. So I think it would be a fair assessment to say if you had a great off season, a pound a month would be like the best off season ever.
I
You
don't
did
know.
imagine doing a 12-month off season and you put
I
on
can't
12
see.
pounds.
I can't see someone like you putting on 12 pounds in a year.
It would be impossible for me at my age and my experience. Yeah. I'm just saying, in the best case scenario. So
Hmm.
this guy, let's say, put on a pound of actual muscle in this time, and the other like 20 pounds he's put on is the rest: glycogen, water, food. You know what I mean?
Especially with a load of the new coaches, not new coaches, new methods, I guess, is like pumping in insulin. So
Sure.
you know that as soon as you put in a little bit of insulin, your weight's going to spike up.
Yeah.
Uh, It's
Yeah,
just
definitely. I feel like it was, as I say, if you do watch this, he is a nice lad, so
mm,
it's nothing personal, but it was just, I think people need to know the difference between scale weight and the reason why we got to this in the first place is because in off season, people were like, I think we've had this chat before. If you are 200 pounds, you don't need to continually put on weight up to 300 pounds to keep gaining muscle. You can happily just go up to about 240, 250 and gain the same amount of muscle, if not more, than
yeah.
if you went all the way to 300.
I would say more because, again, like I said, the more weight you put on, the less insulin sensitive you become, the more sluggish you become. So your workouts will start to suffer, your lower
Agree.
back starts to hurt. So,
You're more efficient at putting on muscle when if you're closer in proximity to your lean weight, your
mm,
lean body mass. So yeah, I've had this conversation with Louis before, in fact, and Louis, trying to get through to Louis that you don't need to just continually go up and up and up and up and up. And actually, you can gain just fine by picking things up gradually, gradually, gradually. I think it's more to do with the quality of the food you put in, how hard you're training, and how long your off season is.
yeah.
All of those are more important than the amount of body weight you put on.
I
So let me elaborate on that. If you were to put on 10 pounds, that's it. But it was fucking immaculate. So you put on 10 pounds over a 10-month period. That 10 pounds is going to be clean as fuck.
oh yeah,
That's going
and
to be
you'll
an
look it
amazing
as
ten
well.
pounds. It's a
You'll
very strong possibility that you would have gained like 5 pounds at least of muscle. 5 pounds of muscle is a fucking big deal. Um,
I
so
mean, I
yeah,
think the heavier you get, like obviously the more muscle you've got, the more water and glycogen you can store. So the more you're gonna weigh. So like, but especially for guys that are like kind of just starting out, or like even not just guys starting out, but let's say if you weigh 180, there's no point like lean 180. There's no point you going up to 230.
I guess then people would argue weight mass moves mass, right? So then when you hold more weight, and if you hold it well as well, you're not just fat. If you hold it well, then your potential ability to be strong is going to be increased. So you'll be able to be good, stronger over bigger rep ranges. Sorry, with big weight, with good rep ranges.
Hmm, I don't know because you take powerlifters for example, guys that are powerlift obviously within weight classes, they don't move much in body weight because there's no good. It's no good them moving up in body weight if you're gonna have to compete down at certain body weight. So
Mm.
at that point, you just kind of get stronger at the body weight you're at.
Yeah, do you know the other one as well regarding weight is like fighting, so UFC or boxing.
Yeah,
It's a nightmare. Like people fight at like let's say they fight at 170 pounds, like a welterweight in UFC. They fight at 170 pounds, but they walk around day to day at like 220.
yeah,
Like, and then what they do is they do a harsh cut once they're in fight camp. Say that they've got a 10-week fight camp, harsh cut down to about 185.
mm.
So you've got to maintain slash improve performance whilst doing that. So it's already a challenge. It's possible, but it's a challenge. And then they'll do like a big water cut. They'll cut like 10 pounds of water like 3 days before the fight.
3 days before. Yeah,
There's no way that you're going to be at peak performance if you've done that.
no,
So what my point is, like, I think what it is people have got an obsession with food. I really believe that. I think in the Western world, we've got this obsession with food, and men in particular have got this obsession with being big. Don't get me wrong, we've all got it. We've all got it. We all want to be bigger, 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 right? Well, most people. And because of that, it means that we eat too much unnecessarily. Do you think that's a fair statement?
I think it's not just that, but it's more the fact that there is just so much choice and options of stuff that you kind of feel like, well, I'd want to try this, I'd want to try that. So many food places always opening. Food is just everywhere because it's like such a like social thing. It's such a like it's a massive thing for people. So it's kind of like that's kind of like the tempting thing with it. You know, I don't know. Say you look at go like on. I was looking on TikTok, like this new like menu from McDonald's comes out. Everyone's hyping it to fuck. So imagine you go and see that, and you're like, "Well, I'd like to try that." You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get that, and I think a lot of blokes, as I say, like it's ingrained in you from a young age just to be big. Like the amount of clients I've had over the years, well, not just clients, but people. Can't wait to be massive. Can't wait to be massive. Like I can't wait to eat more. Be massive, massive, massive. And it's this like obsession with being bigger, but you look shitter. Like as long as you're big in a t-shirt, like you fill your clothes out more. Like this is what people obsess about. Um, I feel like I'm like fighting a battle against this. This is what I feel like a lot of my Instagram posts are. It's like get leaner, look bigger and better. You know,
Yeah.
like I feel like this is like the narrative of my Instagram. People are obsessed with mass and size, and I do get it. But if you want to look bigger and better, you need to get rid of that body fat,
But I think
needless
that
body
also
fat.
just you've got to have a certain amount of muscle for that to carry over. Because if you don't, then you all look worse.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
when you like when you've got a client who's kind of like skinny fat, but he's kind of like a beginner,
Yeah,
like I don't see the need to actually put him on a cut because like what the fuck you're cutting? Like you've got nothing to cut. So let's put you at maintenance, try and train or teach learn how to train, gain some muscle, and in that process, you're gonna start to look better.
well, that's an interesting one. Yeah, so when they come to you, you know the body type, the one you just described. Like they don't have like popping shoulders. They've got kind of a flat chest. Their chest and stomach is the same width.
They've got like an Indian guy shape, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like
Well, like when you think of a muscular man, this is what we look like. So like small waist,
yeah,
and like it looks like they're the opposite. Their shoulders aren't popping, and their waist is like this.
yeah.
And they come to you and they say, "Mate, I just want to be bigger." It's a weird one, isn't it? Because I'll be honest with you, I do. I take them down, but not in an aggressive manner. It's quite close to maintenance, I would say.
Yeah.
But what you find is that you give them higher volume of food.
Hmm.
So although it's a deficit, it's more actual food.
Yeah.
So what happens is they get this recomp where their waist starts to come in and their shoulders start to pop more, and they get this. You know what I mean? But the scales go down, and this is such a mind fuck for them because they don't understand. Like, then you, right? They come to you and say, "I want to be bigger." They go on the scales, they start getting smaller. You've got to. It's your job to sell that to them. You've got to explain as to why you're doing it, but it doesn't always go very well, you know.
Well, I mean, like if you're a beginner, like a straight beginner, which we don't normally get that. You normally
No,
get like people that are training 1, 2 years. I think if you get like a straight beginner who's just like from the street, come find you and he's like, look, I want to start the gym tomorrow. That would be like the ideal way.
yeah. So
Because
then
whilst you're losing, yeah.
you could put that person into a surplus.
Mm,
You could put them in a surplus, and they want and as long as they're training right with surplus, they're going to get better and leaner.
yeah.
Whereas
If they're
guys,
slightly overweight because
yeah,
you've never done that before,
if the foods are clean,
yeah.
then their waste is going to come in by default.
Mm,
You know, and I think this is the thing. I think food volume is like your best friend. As a coach, food volume is like vital because more often than not, these guys, you know, that conversation we had this morning in the group.
yes.
There's guys who are out of shape and 100 kilos, and they struggle with the volume of food, even though it's only like 75 grams of oats. They're like, "Oh, I can't eat it." Well, you're already carrying quite a lot of body fat, so you've eaten more than 75 grams of oats
Yeah.
to get that level of body fat. But what it is the volume of food. So what they need to be in is a deficit, but with more like vegetables and fruit and low calorie food. You know, single ingredient foods basically. Yeah,
I think people are lazy as well. That's the other thing. It's not that they can't get it in, but they'd rather have a bagel than have 75 grams of oats, because they go 75 grams of oats and 45 grams of carbs, as is a bagel. And they go, well, I'd rather eat a bagel.
yeah, they like grab and go foods
Mm.
because a bagel you just did and walk out the door
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. This is what I say to Leanne. Who's Leanne? It's Amy's client. It's what I say to Amy. So Amy is currently in off season, right? She won't like me saying this, but I have said it to her face, and she never goes down very well, to be fair. But she will happily exchange like potato and chicken for like a bagel, a squares bar, and some whey.
Right.
And it's and don't like
Right. So wait. So why don't you like that?
because I absolutely 100% back clean foods. Now, I used to be a bit more like, oh, it doesn't matter, calories and but no, I don't. I think it absolutely matters the type of foods that you eat.
I think it matters for you, but I don't think it matters as much for her. I'll tell you why. You're eating 5, 6, 7,000 calories. She is eating 2.
3, but yeah.
Well, 3. 3 is quite a lot. Fucking hell.
She's gone up to 3, so she started out about 2, she's on 3 now.
Yeah, okay. But she's eating 3, so that's a lot lower. So for you, swapping foods like that can cause an upset in digestion, which then means you can't then eat the next meal, which is a lot bigger of a problem than it is for her. So I think if you're someone that's smaller, you can get away. And you find that a lot with these guys that do if it fits your macros. What do you notice with those guys? They're always smaller. Do they get in shape? Yeah. Some of them look brilliant, but they're smaller guys. They're guys that carry less muscle. And I think you can do that, but you need to be small or smaller size.
It's interesting. I actually, I've mentioned before, I mentor another coach.
Yeah.
He pays me, and I tell him.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily have the best knowledge, so he comes to me anyway. And he only gives if it's your macro plans. And I've had him now for the best part of a year, and none of his clients, and I mean none, 0 of his clients get proper results. None of them. So I keep saying to him, I've been saying to him for probably 6 months now, you should really think about meal plans.
Right. So what makes you say that a meal plan, and I'm not saying I disagree. I just
no, that's right, yeah.
Because obviously I do meal plans as well. But what makes you say that a meal plan is or sets it apart from if it fits your macros, provided that the client is being accurate with tracking?
Okay. So yeah, you've just basically nailed it. The end bit that you said there kind of nails it, right? So I believe the type of client who has if it fits your macros, for the most part, there's always exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, the type of client that does that is someone who's not that serious. So straight away, we've got a relaxed mindset. Then if you add on top of that, they're usually, because they're relaxed, they don't really take it that seriously. They just grab stuff. So they'll go to the shop and they'll grab the fucking number 1 food for fish macros is grenade bars. They fucking love grenade bars, right? Oh, it's protein, bro. It's protein. Okay, cool. You're right, it is protein, but it's not high quality food. Let's be honest, right? So they will happily substitute. Like, in fact, I know this to be true. They'll like have a grenade bar for breakfast, and then they might grab something from Greg's, and then they'll have a whey shake, and then they'll grab another grenade bar, and then in the evening they'll have like what their missus cooks them. It'll be like whatever,
Yeah.
They might have a good microwave meal as well. And I just don't believe that your capabilities of improving your composition is going to be optimal. And I hate that word, but it's just not. So is it possible to get in shape with it if it's macros? Yes, but for most people, no. And it's because of their mindset.
Yeah, but I don't think doing it like that is like. Do most people do it like that? See, the way I would do that is I would say to you, like, if you want to get to do if it fits your macros, I'm happy for you to switch. Let's say, I don't know, instead of yogurt, let's say, I don't know, that protein source, I don't know, I might have said eggs, you can do yogurt, stuff like that.
Okay.
every morning or the night before, you go to yourself, right, this is what I'm going to eat tomorrow. So that gives you that freedom to pick what you want to eat within those macros. But if you've got 200 grams of protein, you don't do 30 grams of protein here and then you eat 110 grams of protein at night. That doesn't fly. You pick your foods and spread your protein throughout the day and carbs or wherever you want them. But you choose that on a daily basis.
Right. So I do that with most of my clients. I say, please feel free. 100 grams of raw weight rice. If you want 400 grams of potato, which will work out fairly similar in terms of carbohydrate intake, please do. But like swaps are fine, but I don't. Again, maybe I'm generalizing. Maybe this is my experience, but I'm generalizing. But I believe people who do efficient macros have a relaxed mindset, and they just think that will do. Oh, that'll do. That'll do. And if you want fast results, which most people do, that will do isn't going to cut it. That's,
I mean, let's take the protein bar thing, for example. Like, unless I fancy a protein bar, which I never would anyway. I'd rather just get a chocolate bar if that's it. But
yeah.
Even if I'm out and about and I can't get hold of protein, I'll just buy a pack of chicken or a pack of meat. Yeah. I need that over a protein bar. Like, I don't think there's ever a need, ever need to eat a protein bar unless, I don't know, maybe you're flying, right? And let's say, I don't know, you're on a flight at the airport, you can't bring fucking packets of meat with you, so you just bring a protein bar. Fine, I guess.
Yeah, and I agree. So actually, I'm gonna like 180 on what you said. Given what you just described, yes, I agree. If future macros can work with someone of our mindset, it can work.
Yeah.
Like, because I know if I haven't got my food with me, I'll go to Tesco. I'll go and buy the ready cooked ham, turkey, or chicken. You can go and get it, right? And then I'll have, instead of rice, I'll have rice cakes. And instead of veg, I'll have an apple or a banana.
Even if you grab like a fucking baguette or something, like a roll.
It's fine. But okay, so then I'm going to 180 myself again. I don't believe that people who have already got, like, let's say, a skinny fat body with about 25% body fat, they can't get away with this kind of lifestyle. Like, for them to see significant changes, they need to make significant changes. Like, by doing this like perpetual cycle that they're in, they never really change. This is what I come across. They sort of kind of stay here. They might get a tiny bit leaner, then and I just don't think it's enough to see significant change. As I say, maybe it's just my experience, but none of his clients get a result. And yeah,
I think it comes down to accuracy and setting boundaries. So, for example, if a client wants, if it fits your macros, again, I'm kind of because my clients are now a lot more lifestyle. I'll go, okay, but I'll set you certain parameters that you'll need to follow.
Okay.
You know, if I say to them, right, I want you to have 350 grams of carbohydrates, fine. So you're going to split 350 grams of carbohydrates over 5 meals is 70 grams of carbs per meal. But I'll say the last meal and the first meal, or like where, depending on where you train, what time you train, make sure you put a little bit more pre-workout, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. And you'll kind of quantify what protein sources are good and what not. Protein bars. Don't fucking eat protein bars. Don't have the whole day fucking worth of whey protein, because some people will do that.
Yeah. You know, and okay, so given those circumstances, yeah, okay, cool. But I think there's a bit of bro science coming in here now, because technically speaking, you can do that and be absolutely fine. Like, if you're talking technicalities, yes, you can. Can you go and buy packet chicken? Can you have a baguette? Can you? Yes, you can, technically speaking. But if my lived experience tells me that a meal plan is far and away more superior. And for people who want to see changes faster.
Okay, well, let's say your meal plan says meal one is 50 grams of protein. I mean, take a smaller person. Let's say you're giving him, I don't know, 200 grams of protein, and they're eating 5 meals a day. So, you know, that means 40 grams of protein per meal. And let's say you give them eggs in the morning, eggs and oats, 75 grams of oats, so it's 45 grams of carb, and say 40 grams of protein. Doesn't matter whether you do eggs and oats or whether you do a bagel with maybe some ham or even a protein shake.
Technically speaking, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't matter.
No, but not even technically. But like, what difference would I see by eating eggs and oats over eating? And I know this. I know the answer. Obviously, oats you're gonna fill you up more, fiber, stuff like that. But what difference outside of that would I see by doing eggs and oats over a bagel and a protein shake?
So then it comes down to quality of food sources. So how well do you digest and process so proteins are depending on what source you've got. Actually, whey protein is actually super bioavailable. So are eggs, to be fair, so they're both really, really good. But like the quality of protein matters. For example, if you were to buy cooked chicken, you know, like ready cooked chicken in the packet, that is not as high quality as like if you were to go to a butcher and buy some meat.
Yes.
Right? Is a bagel going to be as beneficial for your body? Will your body synthesize those carbohydrates as well as oats? I would argue no.
In what way? In a way that how you would feel, or
I think I guess it depends on the person, but I would suggest that processed foods. So oats are a grain, right? It's a single ingredient food, whereas a bagel has been processed, it's been created by humans, right?
Yeah,
been made is a process to make it. I firmly believe that single ingredient foods that are like naturally grown, are going to digest better for most people.
See, I'm going to go the opposite way.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, if I'm, let's say, I don't know, a mum that needs to run the school run, because I've got these guys, for her to wake up half an hour before, get the eggs, get the oats, eat it, I would say a bagel and a protein shake in that case is more beneficial for them because they can do that.
You're talking convenience, not nutritional value.
No, as the overall argument, what would you gain more benefit out of?
So, like, okay, so then I would say, I feel like I'm flip-flopping myself. It depends on the person, right? So if the person's lifestyle, it's easier for them to continually do the easier one, and it's probably better to do that.
Because I mean, like the oats, yeah, it's is it better? Of course, you know, it's got the fiber in there. You know, you're going to be probably full for longer for sure than eating the bagel. A bagel and a protein shake, I mean, that's gone like that, and then you're hungry again in an hour, which then brings people onto, and I hate this fucking word, snacking. Bring people on to like snack and reach for certain stuff that they wouldn't then count into their macros, which then, well, then that's what you're not losing weight because you're adding extra shit that you're not accounting for.
Definitely. So I would say, yeah, when you have a big bowl of oats, when I say big, you know, I'm not talking like ginormous, I'm saying a big bowl of oats, yeah, it certainly keeps you fuller for longer. Digestion is slowed because of the fat content in it, whereas a bagel is not, and it's going to spike your blood sugar. You're going to have this spike of energy, and then you're going to have a crash.
Well, see, the whole thing with obviously the glycemic index, as long as food's mixed, you've got a mixture of carbs, fats, and protein. It's not such a big deal.
It's only if you have it in on its own, in isolation.
Yeah. But equally, like that said, we know the difference anecdotally how you feel by eating a bowl of oats compared to a bagel. I could eat 7 bagels and kind of still feel not that hungry.
Okay, so how about this then? If we are talking glycemic index, we're talking blood sugar, like spiking the blood sugar. Let's say a bagel and 20 grams of jam.
Yeah.
Both of which are super high in the glycemic index.
Yeah.
And the whey, where the whey won't really affect blood glucose too much. I mean, it does a little bit, but not a lot. You're going to see a spike from that specific meal compared to the oats. The oats is you're not going to get that at all. You're not going to get this big rush. You're going to stay fuller for longer, and it's not going to give you this.
But then, why does the spike matter? Like, so I know again the answer, but I want to see what you're going to say. Why does it matter for, I don't know, for a random person, or even for myself or yourself? Why does that matter?
So it would matter for okay, a few things. Energy, energy spike. It would also matter for how you feel in terms of like cravings, what you just touched on.
Yeah.
But then also, then we're talking about if you are, let's say you're at maintenance, or let's say the person for the day is very, very close to maintenance, maybe even pushing into a slight surplus. That's when insulin matters. So if you've got if your blood sugar spikes up, you then release more insulin, then your body's ability, or yeah, your body's ability to store fat is going to be higher, because that's what insulin does. It's going to shuttle nutrients. It's going to your ability.
What if you're overall in a deficit throughout the day?
Well, that then that won't matter as much.
That won't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, that only matters then if you're in a surplus.
Yeah.
But and then here's the point: if you're more likely to snack, you're more likely to be less satiated, and you're more likely to not track food properly. You're more likely to be in a surplus, and therefore that insulin does matter.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of the way I was kind of going. It's more, it's not that it would affect your overall body fat loss or fat loss, but it will if you don't stick to your diet, which is probably what's going to happen to most people.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like a chain effect, isn't it? If you are less satiated, like when you eat a bit of bread,
Self-sabotaging yourself for literally like no purpose.
Yeah, I feel like when you eat bread, and I feel like a lot of people will be able to relate to this. It makes you like crave more.
Yeah,
like I very rarely eat one bagel and I'm like super satisfied.
That's why I don't eat bagels when I diet, because I like them too much.
Yeah, they taste too good, right? Yeah. And you get that sort of like that hit, that fucking that sugar hit from the bagel and jam.
Yeah.
So yeah, your likelihood to then eat more, which would then put you in a surplus, which then means that insulin that you're going to experience throughout the day, that your body is naturally going to produce, does matter.
Yeah.
So it's like a chain effect. In isolation, it doesn't matter, but over the course of a day, it may matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, bottom line is, as long as you can stick to your diet and be accurate, then it's okay.
This is why. Go on. Sorry, go on.
Well, as in for the most part, meaning if you can stick to the accuracy of macros, body composition should be, as in no, fat loss should be there. Body composition might not be the same though.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. And that's why technically it shouldn't matter. You should be able to eat kind of whatever, technically, but we don't live in a perfect world. And there are external factors that come into it. As you say, people lead normal lives and people have cravings and people, my mum's FaceTiming me. She can wait. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, if you lived in a vacuum and everything was completely perfect, then no, yeah, fine. Crack on with the bagel. Sure, no worries.
What if I am a lifestyle client and I kind of want kind of something quite simple, but also I want a little bit of flexibility?
I would probably just give you the option of both. I might even give you a third option as well. I would say, let's say,
I kind of say, right, I would like, because I've done that with clients too, that I can trust. I'll say, okay, I'll give you an allowance of, say, I don't know, out of your 400 grams of carbs, 100 of those carbohydrates, you can, but again, they have to know what they're talking about. Because,
give them a list.
Yeah, because it's like, let's say, I don't know, the protein in a bagel is not the same as a protein in the chicken. And that's the other thing as well, when it comes down to, well, it's 200 grams of protein. What's wrong, But then you're getting, 12 grams of wheat protein, which is garbage. Yeah. It's not the same.
Yeah, or the protein you get from like peanut butter. It's not the same as a meat protein. Yeah. For fuck's sake, one second, mate. Right, 1 second. Right. Good, Mum. Sorry, what's up? I'm literally in the middle of a podcast. Okay, sorry. I'll call you after. All right. Just wanted to chat. What was you saying? Yeah, the quality of protein matters. Like, the amino profile within proteins and how well your body can the bioavailability of the protein source matters.
I would say protein matters a lot more than does carbohydrate. So whether you're getting, same with fats as well. And people go, oh, you know, saturated fat and sure, certain fats for health and things like that. But fat's fat, really. Carbohydrate is carbohydrate, really. Whether, like, yes, it's going to spike your blood sugar, but given that you're sticking to your allowance, I think carbohydrates you can get away with. Whether you're having a bagel or you're having rice, 60 grams of carbs from bagel is the same as 60 grams of carbs from rice. Protein is where it matters a lot more, though.
Well, this is the interesting thing, well, because like obviously, as you say, different fats provide different qualities as well. But there's that, what was it? There was a fucking guy on a test, and he was eating 3 McDonald's a day. It's not supersized me. There was a guy in 3 McDonald's a day, and he still dropped body fat because he was in a deficit. And I think it was like to prove a point that you could.
Yeah.
And his health markers didn't go to shit either because where he was, his overall his body was still in a deficit. He wasn't like shooting, his cholesterol wasn't shooting through the roof. Then it comes down to body composition. So we, as coaches, we're in the business of trying to make people look good, not just be smaller. You know, you don't just want to see the scales go down. You want to see body composition change.
Yeah.
That's why the quality of the food really does matter. It really does.
That's what I always say to clients. I'm like, when they're like, oh, I haven't dropped. I'm like, it's not Weight Watchers. You're not coming to me once a week. Let's weigh you. Oh, well done. You've lost weight. Didn't matter what you ate. It's not that. We're not looking at the scale. It's a different thing. But
yeah, the quality of the food really fucking matters. And it's mad to me how so many people don't necessarily realize that. They just put everything down to weight.
But equally, back to the Amy argument, her swapping, listen, what does she swap? What does she swap for?
So in her diet plan, she'll have like the basics, all the stuff that you think she'll have: chicken, beef, like potato, she'll all that. But she'll swap in, like she'll have a yogurt because it's quicker to eat, it's easier for her to eat because she can't be asked to cook. Or she'll have a Rice Krispie square bars, or she'll have bagels, or she'll have Biscoff oats.
Right.
So she opts for those ones because they taste better to her.
Instead of,
you'll opt for Biscoff oats and some whey over 5% beef mince and potato and veg.
But I would say if she's swapping it for a hash brown from McDonald's, that's different. But she's not. She's swapping it for a bagel. I wouldn't say a bagel's that bad. Like I wouldn't say like a bagel's like a cheat food or like a.
If you had, you specifically, you, not a client, you.
Yeah.
And you wanted to look the best you could, and you had an option of, and let's say we worked it out, and there was a bowl of oats with some whey in it and some Biscoff.
Yeah.
Or you had a plate of beef mince, vegetables, and potato, and it worked out the same. Which one is going to give you the better result?
My personal preference would be the beef because I just prefer savory foods. I don't like Biscoff and shit like that. I'm not really into that sort of shit. But if I was going for a show and I'm competing and I'm 10 weeks out, 8 weeks out, whatever, well, then the beef and potato. But that's because of satiety, things like that. But if I'm like in an off season or a normal lifestyle client, I don't think it matters.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one.
Okay. Tell me how is oats with Biscoff and whey worse than beef? Take the beef, right? The beef is probably the same quality as a good whey protein. The oats,
in terms of how your bioavailability of protein is probably similar.
Yeah.
But I'm talking now. So we're talking the veg and the potato, which is veg. So now I'd say that the micronutrients.
Well, macronutrients. You drink a fucking green sprouter or.
Well, yeah, but so now you're adding a variable.
All right. Assume I'm gonna get my fucking vegetables later on. At dinner, I'm gonna have vegetables at dinner. You know.
Listen, you're not gonna convince me that Biscoff, oats, and whey is as good as beef, potato, and veg.
But why?
Because of the micronutrients. Because the way that your body takes single ingredient foods that have not been processed absolutely are going to be better, and your body's going to process them better than whey, which has been processed. Oats,
but processed how? Processed because we're talking about body composition. We're not talking about health. Health aside, we're talking about body composition. Am I
Yes,
going to look different
yes.
if I eat oats whey and thing?
Oats, whey, and Biscoff is not going to yield the same result as beef, potato, and veg.
I don't think.
Hold
I
on,
think it
okay.
would.
Let's take it to the extreme. Let's take it to the extreme.
Okay.
5 meals a day, all 5 of them are Biscoff, oats, and whey. Biscoff, oats, whey, Biscoff 5 times. And
Right.
then, on the other side, you've got 5 times a day, beef mince, potato, veg, 5 times. In 6 months, who's going to look better? Do you honestly think that the competition will be the
Yeah,
same?
but hold on. We're that is obviously completely different because
No,
I'm
but that's the
saying
point I'm making.
because I'm saying don't eat protein every meal, and you're obviously going to need the micronutrients. But for one meal out of
Okay,
the five,
right,
I think you
right,
can afford to do that, and you ain't going to look worse.
right.
So in isolation,
Okay. In isolation, I agree. 1 meal, crack on. It's not 1 meal. She does it all the time.
she does 5 meals a day of that.
No, like again, she's gonna hate me for saying this, but probably once a day she'll fucking go, fuck it, I can't bother to cook, and she'll just have
Yeah, so
something easy.
one meal out of the five is
Yeah.
fine because that's your
No,
like
no, no,
20%.
no, 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 no. So then, okay, 1 meal for five. So then, over the course of a week, that's 7 meals. Over the course of a month, that is 7 times 4, 28. Then over the course of 6 months, that's 28 times 6. I can't bother to do the maths. But you know what I'm on about.
Okay. But is that meal? Let's say your meal is 5% better than the meal that she picks.
Yeah.
Well, is that really that big of a difference when it comes to
Yeah.
you enjoying when it comes to you actually enjoying the meal so much more?
Okay.
And
So there's a few things to
makes
take
you
into consideration. If we're talking about enjoyment, if we're talking about isolation, sure. What we're talking about is getting the best out of your physique over a long period of time.
yeah, but okay, but you got to understand that most people aren't like you. You're like one of those people like you hate food.
No, I
You
don't
hate
hate food.
you hate food. You don't give a fuck what you eat. You're not really a particularly like person that like is massively got a massive appetite anyway. You think of it differently because of how you are. I think of it,
She says this to me.
huh? Yeah, I think of it differently because of how I am. I am one of these people that I would rather have these like looser options within my diet and have that like little more enjoyment, which then in then carries over into everything else that you do that day.
And I don't disagree. Listen, if it's something that you truly enjoy and it gives you like and it makes you happier in your day, I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm talking if I see it all the time, I can't help but say something. I just and I think if you are really pushing for improvements, then you need to start thinking about these things a little bit.
But she'll do that maybe in the off season. She probably wouldn't do that in prep.
Oh, in prep, she's perfect.
But that's what I'm saying.
She's
I think the
perfect.
off season is the time where you can be a little bit looser, where you can
Yeah.
have that slight little ability to tweak things to make
Yeah.
things a little bit more enjoyable. Because again, like you said it first, if I'm not enjoying it, I don't want to do it. Well, it's the same thing with her because you don't take enjoyment out of food. You don't give a fuck about that. But you care about other things. You care about training. If I say to you, you need to train upper lower split, you're gonna be like, fuck no. No, I don't want to train upper lower split. Yeah, but someone will say, yeah, but that's better. It's more optimal. I don't give a fuck. I don't enjoy it.
All right.
In terms of what you do, in terms of your split, you probably get more benefit, you yourself, because you enjoy it more.
Okay. I will concede what you've just said. I agree with. I will concede that. I will happily hold my hands up and say, right.
So I'm with Amy on this.
Okay, and I'll accept it. I'll accept it. But can I just at least get from you? Because you said why is one better than the other? And you said, let's say the beef mince is 5% better, which I would agree. It probably is.
Yeah.
So can we agree that one is better nutritionally?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm not I'm not saying that you're wrong in a way that the 5% that you're going to get more benefit out of eating the beef mince and the veg and the potato compared to oats and Biscoff. That's just you can't argue that, right? But taking all this other shit into account, I think that changes things. But yeah, in isolation, taking the beef, yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool. So actually, we agree we've gone around the houses a little bit, but we agree. So
I think
money's
I
better
just
than
wanted to like argue
yeah.
just to kind of see if I can try and convince you. But
No, do you know what, mate? I actually really like you did that. Like you went to get you did you played like devil's advocate a couple of times. It's good.
yeah, yeah.
So we can like go through that, right? And actually, I think it's all valid points because you can't discount the importance of how happy you are. Like just the psychology of what food does for you, you can't discount it. If it brings someone happiness in the off season, then I think yeah, cool.
I do think that can also play the opposite way, where people will then it will cause binges
Mm.
because again, you're dieting, you love bagels. You're going, I'm going to eat a bagel with jam because it's the same instead of eating my oats. But mentally, you can't cope with that, and you eat 4 bagels and you cheat on your diet. That can then play against. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's nuance with everything, right? But I think it's all valid. And what you said, I don't disagree with, and I will concede. If you can't have a little bit of flexibility in off season, when the fuck can you?
Hmm.
So yeah, it makes sense. I'm gonna go put the light on. Yeah, so yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it's important to be able to have a little bit of flexibility, but I just think Amy's like Amy's mission statement from her shows is like, I need bigger glutes, I need to put on muscle mass, and then blah 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 blah. And then she says that, but then I see her eating like shit. She's like, hey, I can't really be asked to cook. And I'm thinking, and maybe I'm just a bit robotic, but I'm like, fucking cook.
But then think about back when you started out first, you were eating fucking anything and everything.
I was more flexible, yeah, definitely.
And it was more, let's get a surplus in and let's make sure that I train and that will take care of itself.
Mm. Yeah,
So I think it's kind
yeah.
of like, as long as you're in a surplus. Now, if she was missing meals, I could see you having a valid point. Let's say she's like, I can't be asked to cook, so I didn't eat. That's different.
Ah, okay, hold on. I've got another little sprinkling to put in there. Now she talks about how she enjoys like that type of food, so she wants it in. Cool. But then she also goes on about how she's like, oh, I'm just getting a bit fat. I'm just getting a bit fat. So now I'm thinking, well, if your food was more cleaner and more towards what you should be eating, the body fat levels wouldn't be as. Bearing in mind, she won't listen because she doesn't listen anyway. She is by no means fat, but she says,
Yeah.
yeah, I think she looks fantastic. But she says, oh, I'm a little bit annoyed about the body fat. Oh, you know. So I think to myself, well, if you're going to be saying that, then fucking do something about it. Stop it. You know?
Yeah, but if your surplus is 200 calories and that 200 calories comes from Biscoff or it comes from, a surplus is a surplus, really. Um, Bearing in mind, like you're still 80% of your calories are coming from where they should be.
Yeah. Again, don't know if I agree on that one. Surplus isn't a surplus. Like a surplus with chocolate, McDonald's, pizza is not the same as a surplus with
Yeah, but you're
potatoes.
taking it to the extreme.
Yeah,
You're
I know, but you got to make your point. You got to.
assuming that she's eating all McDonald's, all donuts.
Yeah, but sometimes to illustrate a point, you need to
Yeah,
get
I
the
know.
point. And like shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but no, yeah, yeah. Do you know what? Maybe all this is doing actually is highlighting to me that I'm like more bodybuilder than I realize.
Yeah, I think so.
Like you know me, you've known me fucking however long. I was definitely more like chill before, but now I'm like, like
And I think you get like that because you're now at that point where you're aiming for that like top 5% of people that bodybuild, not just any people, but people that bodybuild. Because lots of people bodybuild, but you're aiming to be like in that like top bracket of people that bodybuild. That
yeah,
calls for that. But again, it's like anything. If you've got a sports car, then everything has to be so tuned up to the point where there's no risk. But if you're then just driving your normal car, you don't have to be as anal about it all.
yeah, yeah. I guess so because I like the level that I'm at now. I'm aiming to be one of the top amateurs and become pro, like in the country. And I know that guys of my level are pushing it. If I don't,
Mm.
they're gonna make me look shit, you know. So, well, it's interesting. It's quite a good subject. I think everyone, most if not everyone, can relate to it. You know, the
I
ability
think
to sorry, the ability to like switch off a little bit when you're not competing, like when you're in off season. I think
yeah.
it's yeah. I think for most people, it's quite important. You know.
I think when you come off being 100% bodybuilder, you're going to feel very different about these things because again, it's kind of like in the moment right now, you feel a certain way, but that's because of where you are at right now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sure there'll be a time where I'm just like, yeah, whatever. And it's not that I don't like food. Of course, I like food, but I don't get a fucking hard on about it. Like it is what it is. Like I don't like, yeah. I don't think about food and go, oh my god. I just think, oh yeah, okay,
No,
cool.
I mean, no, I don't think I agree with that. I mean, the fact that you're now as lean as you are and you're still kind of talking about food in this way tells me you're like you're completely different to 99.999% of people. Most people wake up thinking about food and go to bed about thinking about food, especially so if you're in a dieted phase, in a dieted state.
So I was thinking about this the other day, and sometimes I need to take stock of how experienced I am. And the reason why I say that is because it's easy for me to have this viewpoint now. That's only because I'm experienced. I remember after my first show, I was crazy for food. Crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I remember, I'm sorry if I repeat myself, I've already said this, but I was driving to Sainsbury's in Britain. Like, I was living with my parents after my first show.
Yeah.
And I was driving, I'm not exaggerating. I was driving and I went and picked up like 120 pounds worth of shit. Like, just shit. Like cakes, pastries,
Yeah.
you name it, right? And on the way home, I was thinking about the pancakes that I just bought, like Scott pancakes. They had white chocolate chips in them, right? And I was thinking about them, and honestly, I was like this. I was so excited. My breath was trembling and my hand was shaking because I was so excited to eat it. So I used to be like that. I used to be like that.
But then you used to be like that after that one show. But if you look at yourself prior to bodybuilding, you were still just a naturally slim person. You're like used to be like quite a skinny kid. Like even like before you trained, you had like abs and stuff.
Yeah.
That is a trait of someone who with not a very high appetite. Because you know when people go, "Oh, I eat what I want and I'm still skinny." No, you don't eat what you want and you're still skinny. You're skinny because you've got no appetite. So when you eat what you want, you don't eat
Right.
much of it.
Yeah. So throughout the day, you ate nothing, but then you had a pizza and then you had an
Yeah.
ice cream, and you're like, oh, I eat what I want. It's like, yeah, but your calories are still only fucking, you know? Like, you're right. I had abs when I was younger, and I was always skinny. I was, but I had a big appetite. If you ask my mum when I was younger, not that you ever would ask my mum, but what I did is if my mum was here, she'd
Yeah,
be
yeah,
able to
yeah, yeah,
confirm.
yeah.
I used
You're
to eat
like, call her
cereal.
now.
I get her on call on the
Yeah.
FaceTime. I used to eat cereal in bed every night. I used to grab 4 Weetabix, and then in between the Weetabix, I'd put Rice Krispies, and then
But
I'd
that
put
would have been
corn.
based on your activity levels and things like that.
I was super active, yeah, yeah.
That's what I mean. So it's that overrides it all.
I
So
know, I know. I'd always have a sweet tooth. I'd eat cakes and I'd eat I'd go to the biscuit tin that we had and I'd fucking have about five. Like, I was quite like that. But where I was so active, I played football and I was always out with my friends and whatnot. Um,
but
yeah.
then would you wake up in the morning and then not eat much and then kind of like eat at
No,
night or
no, I would always eat. I promise. I promise.
right,
I'd
okay.
always eat. But I think I was just active enough that it didn't
Yeah.
matter. Yeah. Before bodybuilding, I was into food more. I was into food more. And even after my first show, maybe my second show too. And then the longer I've got into bodybuilding, the less food. Like food, my food focus has just gone less.
Yeah.
And now, yeah, I don't know. I've got a pack of Maltesers over there. About 5 years ago, I would have been like, motherfucker, but they're just whatever.
See, yeah, and that kind of is one of these things where I think because you're like that now, you need to put yourself in the shoes of people that maybe aren't like that and not be so militant about their choices, because you're like, is it really going to make that much of a difference in the real world? Probably not.
No, you're right. You know what?
Um,
And it's funny because after this conversation, it might seem like I'm super militant, and I can't understand why anyone would do that. But actually, I really like to pride myself on. If you were to quiz my clients, like, what's Ryan like? I do feel like I do understand. I
hmm,
understand that it's not their life. Them having being coached by me and trying to get in better shape, it's not everything to them. It's just
yeah,
something that they do in their life.
yeah.
They've got their life, and then it's there, as
And then
opposed
if
to
you've got a
it's their life.
client that's in prep, then you kind of have to have that chat, and you're like, look, you need to make this for this time. You need to make it everything, right? Because it's extreme. Bodybuilding is extreme, but for the most part, there has to be some sort of leeway. And then at that point, you don't want to come across like super militant to where clients are kind of like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, you make it unenjoyable, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you know, I've actually spoken to people that you've coached before, and they're like, I was like, it's too much. Like, granted, like it was, Dan Pope, it was him. He was like,
I
he was
remember
like,
the conversation with it.
he's too strict. He's too like, you know. And
He,
I'm like, well, the thing is, like, obviously with him, because I've coached him too, and we've tried everything. We've tried if it fits your macros. We've tried low fat, high food, low food. There's always something, you know, to
so this is
blame.
my point. And has he ever got a result that he wanted?
No.
So why was I militant?
Well,
Do you know what? He used the word malleable. He said to me, "You Ryan, you need to be more malleable," is what he said.
right.
And I said, "Why?" I said, "You've come to me for a result. I'm not going to start like sugarcoating everything. I'm going to tell you what you need to do to get in shape."
Yeah.
And he left.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is the thing, like, I've tried with him to kind of go and be like, okay, look, let's try macros, but he can't stick to it. I think some people are just not meant to get in shape to be in shape.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Here's the thing: you spoke to him, and he made out that it's my fault.
Yeah.
Who's the
Oh, well,
problem?
no. He didn't make it like it's your fault. But when I said about making his diet, and he was like, I don't want to do what Ryan does. I think he's too like Hitlery, like too extreme. I'm like, okay, we'll try something else. But it was
Yeah.
that didn't work either. So, you know,
And then you tried something else, and how did that go?
yeah. I mean, like you said, you know, he's not gotten in shape, and he's been trying for how long? So
Do you remember when he made that bet with me?
yeah,
So for people listening, he said he benched 180 as his one rep max, and he said to me, "I'm going to do two. I'm going to do 200 by the end of the year."
yeah,
And it was like September, and I was like, "No way!" So we bet £100 on it. And then
yeah. I
on
think it was like 3 months, wasn't it? 3 months.
yeah, hold on, fuck me, what's up? Yeah, 3 months. And then he got there on New Year's Eve, wasn't
Yeah, and he attempted it, didn't he?
it? Yeah. And he
I
failed
think he got
miserably.
180 still, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I think he was meant to be, because he was like 120 kilos. Didn't he say he was going to be
Oh
100?
yeah. He said, "I'm going to drop 10 kilo body weight, but
No.
gain
He
20."
was. I think he was 120 maybe.
Yeah, no, he said, "I'm going to drop 10 kilo body weight, and I'm going to gain 20 kilo on my bench press."
Right. Yes.
And then when we got there on New Year's Eve, he hadn't changed body weight, and he
No,
kept the same, and his body weight was the same, and he benched 180.
he was. Yeah, he was the same body weight, and he was like, and you were like, "Ah, it's all right. I'll let you off for that as long as you still get 200."
Yeah, no. And I'm pretty sure
I think he
180 was
got
just
190.
maybe. Yeah. So yeah, people like that. As you just said, some people are not destined to be in shape. They're just not. And you know what? I don't want to like make excuses for people because some people are lazy and that side of things. But I do think that some people's genetics are really poor. Like they can't get away with stuff. There are definitely some people when I've got clients. I've got clients when they have. Okay, for example, Josh, my client who won the great
Yeah.
title. he carved up on 350 grams of carbs. I gave him 350 grams of carbs and he gained 2 kilos. 350 carbs. That's fuck all. So some people are just super sensitive to food. So I think some of these people who are quite fat and overweight, they have one off-plan meal and boom, like they're fucked. You know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
just like anything, though. Take it like just from even like, let's say young age, you're at school. There's always that kid that's going to be smarter than you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like you can try twice as hard, they will still be smarter than you. If you get to their level of smartness, you would have put 4 times the amount of work, which for them is barely any effort. You learn that like from what, fucking age 5?
Yeah, 100%. And or even think about like physicality, you know, like in the playground, football, there was just kids who were just good. Right?
Yeah.
And there were some kids that were just shit.
Yeah.
Like we're all the same age, so we've all got the same experience, but some kids just can't fucking do it. Why? It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I think if you're a bodybuilder and you're genetically skinny, I would honestly argue that's a better start position.
100%.
You agree, yeah?
100%. I would, if you're like you, for example, you start out skinny. Yes, it's harder to because you need to eat more, but that's easier in a way than having to constantly battle being easy to put body fat on.
So a good example is, again, we talk about him every podcast, Peter Kane. Peter Kane is he puts on weight like a madman. It's crazy. And he's fucking big, he's fucking thick, he's got loads of muscle mass, but he's gonna struggle like fucking prep. Okay, I'm calling it already, and I think you know already. And
he spoke to me about this the other day, and I said, "You're gonna struggle with prep." He's like, "Yeah, I know."
I worry that you're not even gonna make it.
Take me, like I put on weight, but then again, I don't know. I lose weight easy as well because I dropped like 60 pounds. So,
but you're sort of in between. You gain and lose quite well.
Right? Yeah.
I would. You're like the middle ground. Like I'm that way, Pete's that way. You're here.
I'm like there. Yeah, I can gain 10 kilos easy, but I can also lose 10 kilo like nothing. So it's like,
yeah, I guess. Well, technically speaking, then you should be a really good mix. You should be that fucking like, you know. You haven't got the mindset to want to really, really push it.
Oh no.
If you did,
maybe,
you know,
maybe, yeah. Who knows? But that's one of these things. Like, and it's not just that, but it's like I said, you could be blessed with being able to put on muscle or diet hard or even both. But if you haven't got the mental like ability to get down to like the nitty gritty when you have to diet, that's
when people talk genetics, not often is it spoken about your mind. And I think there's a genetic predisposition that some people have and some people don't, because it's all well and good saying I'm going to smash it. When the going is easy, it's easy to say that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what about when you've slept shit, stressed with work, you're on low food? Are you still able to fucking smash it then?
Not even just that, but not even like the ability to stick to your diet, but even just like losing your head, like just almost like changing so much about how you think, just based on these factors, like that being a different factor in your life.
Yeah, I mean, again, when we talk genetics, people always assume it's like, you know, muscle insertions and fucking you know, how bubbly something is, but it's definitely like this as well. And funnily enough, a lot of the times, the people with incredible genetics physically don't have this. It's really weird. Like you typically have one or the other, and when you get both, that's when you get fucking. That's when you get someone like Ronnie Coleman. It's just that's it.
Yeah. You see that it's very rare that you see someone that's got really good, because it's a lot of it. You see these guys that are like this guy, they're the potential guys. When you say, "Oh, this guy's got really good potential,"
yeah.
You know? But you're like, right, that means you're never gonna get anywhere.
You got amazing potential just means, yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Good luck.
No, no,
Because
I
it's
mean,
like you
no.
see that.
There's always people that can like break the mold. But yeah, what would you say?
Like you see that as in people that have either really good structure, really good shape, but they can't get lean, and you're like, what the fuck is it? Or they kind of like lose their head. Like I said, like Don Valley. I was chatting to him the
Yeah.
other day actually, because I see this fucking shot he posted. I was like, what the? I said to him, you've genuinely got one of the most impressive physiques I ever seen on anyone.
Agree fully.
And he was like, yeah, I know. He said, I just need to get my head like in it. And I'm like, this is exactly it.
Yeah. He's a great example of like, if his head was right, he'd beat everyone. He would beat everyone.
Yeah.
Like, who's hanging with that level of like bubbliness? And he's like, who's hanging with that?
And it's not just the bubbliness, but like he's actually got muscle as well. He's got like,
Yeah, but you know what? It's even aesthetic as well.
yeah.
It's like it's like nice to look at as well, isn't it? It's not like an ugly big physique. He's like nice to look at as well. Yeah, fuck. Every time he's on prep, there's always something. It's like, oh, I'm just a bit, like work's fucked me, or I'm stressed, or. But it's basically it's just his inability to when the going gets tough. He can't.
Or
It's a shame, isn't it?
like self like create these issues in your head that aren't even issues.
The thing is, those issues happen for everyone.
Yeah.
Like when everyone's on prep, everyone's got stresses. Like be it financial, be it relationship, be it family, be it like we've all got them. It's just some people can compartmentalize.
Some people don't even have issues. Like for me, I had no issues in my prep, like as in lifestyle problems. I had nothing go wrong the entire prep.
But hold on, but is that not because you don't allow it to?
Oh,
I'm sure there must have been something that could have derailed you if you let it.
I don't know. I mean, like, what? How can you? Some stuff. I mean, stuff that you can't prevent in a way.
I guess everyone's different. Like, every prep's different. So this prep just gone, and the one earlier on this year, I had no issues. But I've had other preps where my car's broke down, my fucking family pets died, or a family like my granddad's died, and I've had these things happen. But it doesn't matter. Like you crack on anyway.
So stuff like that, yeah, I never didn't have anything like that. So that's what I mean.
I guess it's yeah.
But even still, prep just doesn't go that well because of just you almost like create issues in your head, like not stuff that you can't help. Because there are things that can happen, sure, but
yeah. For the most part, though, I think, as you say, people create a problem. Like they
yeah.
almost it's because they're probably hungry and tired, right? So they start creating a problem to justify not doing it anymore.
Yeah. We're like, oh, I fell out with my missus. No. You're hungry, you were being a cunt, and that's why you fell out.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's like they're looking for a way out. They're looking for a way out. They're looking for a way to stop, basically. But yeah. Oh, stop it. Mate, on that note, I've actually got to eat, so I've still got fucking 3 more meals to eat.
Yeah. I'm gonna make dinner as well. So
what you got tonight?
I'm gonna do the bolognese.
Nice.
I'm still using like 5% mince and like so I'm still keeping it.
Are you gonna have treats afterwards as well?
No, probably not. I'm not into like treats. I don't love chocolate or anything like unless I go to the cinema or something like that. But I'm not one of these people that would normally sit there and just eat a bag of sweets like most of the time anyway. I'm not like one of those people. I don't know. I prefer savory stuff.
Yeah.
I'd rather, if I'm hungry, go and make a fucking ham sandwich with mayonnaise than have a
yeah. I've got to be honest. I'm a bit of a sweet person. It's like the kind of things I crave would be
worse being a sweet person. Like it's easier to overeat on sweet.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, 100%. Because if I have those Maltesers, it probably will make me. I'll probably go and grab something else.
Yeah.
Like if I don't have them, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Off, you know what I mean? But anyway, mate. All right.
All right.
Until next time.
Catch you next week.
Later, mate.